All right, ready to dive deep into a pretty interesting corner of the Star Citizen universe today. We're looking at Farout Corporation.
Farout Corporation.
And, at first glance, you might think, oh, just another space guild. What's the big deal?
Yeah, another org. What's so special about this one?
But trust me on this one.
Yeah.
This is not your average group of spacefarers. These guys are doing things a little differently.
Yeah, what's fascinating to me about Farout is the level of detail and organization that they bring to the game. It's not something you see every day. Like, imagine a spacefaring guild that has detailed breakdowns of different departments, a code of conduct, even ranks like a real-world military. It's almost like a virtual society forming within the game.
Yeah, and get this, they're a primarily Norwegian-speaking organization. So picture this. You've got Vikings in space, collaborating and strategizing in Norwegian.
And Norwegian.
To conquer the Star Citizen universe.
It really sets them apart, and it kind of speaks to their core philosophy. They have this motto, strength through unity in diversity. And they welcome players from all backgrounds, but they emphasize effective communication. And for them, that means Norwegian is a must.
Okay, so they're organized, ambitious, and they have this unique cultural identity. But what are their actual goals in the game? What are they aiming to achieve with all of this structure?
Well, their ultimate goal is galactic domination.
Of course it is.
Nothing short of it. And they've actually laid out a 3-stage plan to try to achieve this, starting with what they call Alpha Stage. Think of it as their training montage phase, where they're honing their skills, building their community within the current game modes that are available.
So they're practicing their asteroid dodging and laser blasting, all while bonding over their shared Norwegian heritage.
Exactly. Then once Star Citizen achieves full persistence, they move into what they call Bravo Stage. This is where the real group play intensifies. We're talking organized training for pilots, cargo haulers, and every other role that they've established.
Okay, so they're not messing around. This is serious business. But how does a Norwegian-speaking organization plan to dominate a universe filled with players from all over the world? Wouldn't that be a communication nightmare?
That's where their emphasis on unity and cooperation really comes into play. They believe that by working together, regardless of language, they can overcome any obstacle. And remember, they're still welcoming players from all backgrounds, as long as they understand the importance of clear communication within the organization.
All right, so they're strategizing, training, and building this diverse but united front. What happens when the full game launches? What's their end game?
That's what they call Charlie Stage. That's their post-launch plan for galactic domination. This is where their long-term economic and strategic plans come into play. They're thinking about things like resource management, trade routes, and even strategic alliances with other organizations.
It's like they're building a space empire brick by digital brick. But with this level of organization, there must be tons of different roles for players to take on, right?
Oh, you're absolutely right. They have a whole system of departments and specialized roles far beyond the typical soldier or pilot you might see in other guilds.
Okay, color me intrigued. What kind of specialized roles are we talking about?
Well, they have 9 main departments: transport, industry, science and research, racing and sports, mercenary, fleet security, community, and defense force, each with its own unique set of responsibilities and opportunities for players to contribute.
9 departments. That's more complex than some real-world companies. Let's break this down a bit. What would a typical day look like for someone in, say, the science and research department? Would they be wearing lab coats on a space station?
They might. They have roles like hunters who track down exotic creatures, scientists who unravel the mysteries of the universe, even crafters who develop new technologies and equipment.
Wow, that's way cooler than just blasting asteroids. And I'm guessing each department has its own hierarchy and leadership structure.
Absolutely. For example, their fleet department is structured like a real-world military, with ranks ranging from general all the way down to lieutenant.
So if you have a thing for command and strategy, this is the place for you. I'm starting to see the appeal. It's like you're not playing a game, you're participating in a virtual society. And it's all driven by the players themselves, which is pretty mind-blowing.
It really is. And it goes to show how much dedication and passion can go into building these online communities.
Okay, so they've got this grand vision, a well-defined structure, and a unique cultural identity. But how does this all translate into action? How do they make those galactic domination dreams a reality?
That's where their intricate system of roles and responsibilities comes in. They've taken the time to create detailed descriptions for each role, outlining specific tasks and expectations.
So it's not just about joining the guild and shooting things. There's real depth to this.
Oh, there's definitely depth.
Yeah.
They've thought of everything from salvaging wrecked spaceships to managing the organization's finances.
Finances. Do they have their own in-game economy going on?
They do. They have a system of contributions and taxation to fund operations that require significant manpower. It's all about players pooling their resources to achieve shared goals.
So taxes, even in space, you can't escape them. But you're making it sound like a fun, collaborative undertaking, not a burden.
That's exactly how they frame it, and they emphasize that real life comes first. They understand that people have lives outside the game, so high activity is appreciated, but not mandatory.
That's good to know. I wouldn't want to have to choose between space duties and, actual responsibilities. But with so many players and such a complex structure, how do they maintain order? Do they have rules in place?
They have a detailed code of conduct that emphasizes respect, inclusivity, and zero tolerance for harassment. They also have a charter that outlines rules for communication, conflict resolution, and even self-defense.
So no space trolls or intergalactic drama allowed.
Exactly. They want to create a positive and supportive environment where everyone can focus on having fun and achieving their goals.
Okay, this is all starting to sound really impressive. They've created a whole world within a world, complete with its own culture, rules, and aspirations.
And what's even more impressive is they're doing it all within the context of a game that's still under development. It's like watching a society evolve in real time.
All right, I'm completely sold. But before we dive deeper into their individual departments and roles, let's take a step back and think about the bigger picture. What does the existence of an organization like Farout tell us about the future of online gaming communities?
That's a great question. I think Farout is a fascinating example of how players are taking ownership of their gaming experiences and creating communities that go far beyond the typical shoot-'em-up mentality.
It's almost like they're pioneering a new way to play, one that emphasizes collaboration strategy and even a sense of belonging.
Exactly. And I think we're going to see more and more of this as online games continue to evolve.
So for anyone listening who's intrigued by the idea of joining a well-organized, ambitious, and culturally unique spacefaring guild, what's the best way to learn more about Farout?
I'd recommend checking out their website. They have a ton of information about their department's roles and overall vision.
And if you're ready to dive headfirst into the world of spacefaring Vikings, you can join their Discord server and start connecting with other members.
Just remember to brush up on your Norwegian.
All right, before we move on to the specifics of each department, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll unpack the intricacies of Farout's 9 departments and explore some of the unique roles they offer. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
All right, we're back and ready to delve into the heart of Farout Corporation, their 9 departments. We've got transport, industry, science, and research, and hold on, racing and sports. Are we talking zero-gravity marathons here?
Not quite, but it shows you the range they offer. Farout believes in diverse play styles, so alongside your more, serious departments like the Fleet and Defense Force, you have options for those who want something a bit different.
Okay, so they've got something for everyone. But let's start with the essentials. What's the deal with the transport department? I imagine logistics are pretty crucial in a sprawling space empire.
Absolutely. Think of the transport department as the circulatory system of Farout. They've got traders who keep the in-game economy flowing, buying and selling goods across the star system.
Sounds like a good gig for anyone with a knack for deal-making.
Definitely. Then you have the recovery experts, the ones you call when you've had a little too close an encounter with an asteroid field. They specialize in salvaging damaged ships and equipment. A high-risk, high-reward profession.
I can see the appeal. There's something exciting about being the galactic tow truck driver,
Yeah.
pulling valuable wrecks out of the void.
Then you have the workhorses of the department, the haulers, the transporters, and the couriers, each with their own niche in moving cargo. Imagine piloting a massive freighter loaded with precious resources, navigating treacherous space lanes. It's like a space trucking simulator with a dash of intergalactic intrigue.
Okay, I'm starting to get a feel for the depth here. Each role has its own unique challenges and rewards. What about the industry department? How do they contribute to Farout's galactic aspirations?
Industry is all about keeping the wheels turning literally and figuratively. You've got your miners extracting raw materials from asteroids and planets, and then you have the refiners who process those materials into usable fuel, crucial for any spacefaring civilization.
It's fascinating how they've mirrored real-world industries within the game. It makes the whole experience feel more believable and engaging.
Exactly. And then you have roles that focus on keeping everything in tip-top shape. The repair technicians are your go-to for ship maintenance and repairs. And the breakdown engineers are the problem solvers, the ones who analyze complex technical issues and keep things running smoothly.
They're like the space mechanics essential for keeping the fleet in top condition.
Absolutely. And let's not forget the builders, the ones who literally construct Farout's infrastructure from outposts to entire bases. It's like playing a space architect, designing and building structures in a dynamic and ever-changing universe.
This is all starting to sound like a well-oiled machine. But you know me, I'm always drawn to the more adventurous side of things. Tell me more about the science and research department.
Ugh, that's where the true explorers and pioneers gather. You've got the hunters venturing into uncharted territories to track down exotic creatures and uncover hidden artifacts. Imagine the thrill of discovering a new species or stumbling upon an ancient alien relic.
It's like a spacefaring Indiana Jones with lasers and spaceships.
Exactly. Then you have the scientists, the ones who analyze data, conduct experiments, and try to unlock the secrets of the Star Citizen universe. Imagine being the first to crack the code of an alien language or discover a new energy source.
Okay, now you're speaking my language. What about those crafters? What kind of cool gadgets are they cooking up?
They create everything from experimental building materials to specialized tools for capturing alien life forms. Imagine designing a cage strong enough to hold a creature from another dimension. The possibilities are endless.
This is blowing my mind. They've taken typical MMO roles and injected them with a dose of realism and depth that I haven't seen before.
And let's not forget the more grounded aspects of science and research. They have search and rescue teams who locate missing persons and assist those in distress. And the farmers who cultivate and harvest plants, ensuring a sustainable food supply for the organization.
It's like they're building a self-sufficient space society. Pretty impressive. Okay, now I have to ask about this racing and sports department.
Yes.
What's the appeal there? Is it just for those who need a break from galactic domination?
It might seem like an outlier, but it reflects Farout's commitment to diversity. They have industrial athletes competing in physical challenges, parkour athletes navigating complex environments with agility, and sports marksmen testing their accuracy and speed.
So it's a way for players to let off some steam and have some fun, but within the structured environment of the organization.
Exactly. And for those who crave the thrill of speed, there are racing pilots pushing their ships to the limit and racing drivers tearing up the terrain in ground vehicles.
Okay, I can see the appeal. It's like a virtual playground for spacefaring adrenaline junkies.
And speaking of adrenaline, we can't forget the mercenary department. These are your guns for hire, the ones who operate outside the confines of traditional law enforcement. You've got mercenary soldiers skilled in ground combat, and mercenary combat pilots dominating the skies with their firepower.
So if you want to live life on the edge of the law, this is the place to be.
You could say that. They also have bounty hunters tracking down wanted criminals and hackers who can infiltrate secure systems.
Intriguing. Now, with all these different departments and roles, how do they maintain order and security? It seems like it would be easy for things to descend into chaos.
That's where the security and defense force departments come in. Think of security as the police force, maintaining order within Farout's territories and providing protection for valuable shipments.
So they're the ones who keep the peace within the empire.
Exactly. And then you have the defense force, which is essentially their military branch. They handle fleet operations, engage in large-scale combat, and have specialized units like Marines and Special Forces.
Okay, so they're ready for anything, from internal security to full-blown intergalactic warfare. What about the community department? What role do they play in this grand scheme?
They're the glue that holds everything together. They handle internal and external communications, organize events, manage social media, and recruit new members.
So they're the diplomats, the party planners, and the HR department all rolled into one.
You could say that. They play a vital role in fostering a strong and cohesive community within Farout.
It's amazing how much thought and detail they've put into every aspect of this organization. It's like they're not just playing a game, they're building a virtual society.
It really is a remarkable feat of community building and organization. And it's all driven by the players themselves, which makes it even more impressive.
So you've painted a picture of a complex and multifaceted organization with roles to suit every playstyle and interest. But I'm curious, how does this all play out in the actual game? How does Farout's structure impact their actions and interactions within the Star Citizen universe?
That's a great question, and it's something we'll explore in more detail in our next deep dive. We'll delve into how their organizational structure translates into action, and how their unique approach to the game might give them an edge in the race for galactic domination.
Sounds good. I can't wait. So we've explored Farout's departments and the roles they have, but how does all this intricate structure actually translate into action in the Star Citizen universe? I mean, Do they have some kind of tactical advantage in battles? Does their focus on economics lead to more in-game wealth?
That's where things get really interesting. It's one thing to have this detailed plan on paper, but actually executing it effectively in a dynamic and unpredictable game like Star Citizen, that's a whole other challenge.
Right. So how do they go from theory to practice?
Yeah. We'll take their fleet department, for example. Their hierarchical command structure, with those clear lines of authority, allows them to coordinate large-scale fleet maneuvers with a level of precision that you just don't see very often. I mean, imagine a squadron of Farout fighters engaging an enemy convoy, each pilot following orders from their designated captain, and ultimately answering to the fleet general. It's a level of coordination that most casual groups can only dream of.
So they're like a well-oiled military machine, but in space.
Precisely. And it's not just about combat either. Their focus on logistics and resource management driven by their industry and transport departments means they can efficiently gather and distribute the resources they need to fuel their operations. This gives them a significant economic advantage, allowing them to fund ambitious projects and maintain a steady flow of supplies to their troops.
It's like they're playing 4D chess while everyone else is still figuring out the rules of checkers.
Mm.
But doesn't all this structure and formality take away from the fun of the game?
That's a common misconception. While Farout has a clear chain of command and those defined roles, they also emphasize individual initiative and creativity within those roles. Remember, their motto is strength through unity and diversity. They recognize that a rigid hierarchy can stifle innovation, so they encourage members to think outside the box and contribute their unique skills and perspectives.
So it's not just about blindly following orders. There's room for personal growth and expression within the system.
Absolutely. They understand that a successful organization needs a balance of structure and flexibility, and that's reflected in their approach to gameplay. While they have those grand plans for galactic domination, they also encourage members to, explore the universe, pursue their own interests, and even form their own subgroups within the larger organization.
It sounds like they've struck a pretty delicate balance between order and freedom, which is pretty impressive considering the scale of their operation.
It is, and it's one of the things that makes them such a fascinating case study in online community building. They've created a space where players can come together, work towards those shared goals, and forge lasting friendships, all within the context of a vast and immersive game world.
It's like they've taken the best aspects of real-world organizations and adapted them to a virtual environment.
Exactly, and they've done it in a way that's both impressive and inspiring.
So what does the future hold for Farout Corporation? Will they achieve their galactic domination goals? Will their unique approach to the game influence other organizations?
Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure. They're a force to be reckoned with in the Star Citizen universe. That combination of strategic planning, meticulous organization, and strong community spirit makes them a formidable opponent, and a really fascinating group to watch as the game continues to evolve.
Well, I have to admit, I started this deep dive with a healthy dose of skepticism. Another space guild. I thought, how unique can they be? But I'm leaving this conversation feeling genuinely impressed by Farout's ambition, dedication, and sheer ingenuity.
I agree. They've challenged my preconceived notions about online gaming communities and shown that with the right approach, a group of players can create something truly extraordinary.
It's a testament to the power of collaboration, the importance of clear communication, and the boundless potential of the human imagination.
Well said.
So to all our listeners out there, if you're looking for a truly unique and engaging online gaming experience, I encourage you to check out Farout Corporation. Who knows, maybe you'll find your place among these spacefaring Vikings and help them shape the destiny of the Star Citizen universe. Until next time, keep exploring, keep connecting, and keep reaching for the stars.